There we Jeez, I think I'd know, wouldn't you? It is the first words for this medium that cements the link. Now, this is not the case for all mediums, as some just need to feel the energy change and the influence of the mind, or the mind to fog. But for this medium, it is very much the first words means that you can let go and move away. Now, before we continue our discussion regarding the qualities a spiritual man reveals from within himself, we suggested last week that there could be a few names added and mentioned, and then to receive healing. So I understand there are a list of names already mentioned that you possess. So when it is appropriate for you, would you mind gently reading the names for me?
Understood.
So now I have the healing energy sufficiently stored. So let us begin. What are the names?
Okay. The names are Carrie Balding, Lynette Balding, Joshua French, Megan French, Luke Doherty, Jennifer Doherty, Neil Parsons, Raylene Parsons, Vicky Acklin, Loy Warner, Annie Jacobson, Stig Jacobson, Charlotte Jacobson, Pia, Ayla, Haley, Janet, Pekka, Baya, Thomas, Sonia, Loretta, Michelle, Chris and Howard Wielden, Evie Rose Johnston, Amanda, Craig, Mary Rose, Sylvia, Misty Lawrence, Lena Bolin, Chantal Marchik, Kirsten Barnes, Joel Barnes, Darlene Waddle, Helen Pereira, and Jane Leeming.
So during the course of the balance of this talk, each of those people will receive a connection. Some I know are not even awake. Others are present. There is particular challenges I know for at least 2 of the people mentioned. I can assure you that healing is being given as we speak. So let us continue. Yet again, it will not be I that will do this talk, but another. And if you remember, right at the very beginning, I said that these are the qualities that a spiritual man reveals from within. This is part of the awakening process. There is nothing here that needs to be given to them. Only they reveal what is already there. They reveal the quality that exists within them. And as they go deeper within themselves, each of these qualities become more prevalent, more recognized, and equally more expressed. So let's pass to the other and then we can begin the talk. You got me again. Well, this one's really important, this quality, represented by the main man, Thomas. Drumroll. Anyway, Thomas is the man. Of course, it's Doubting Thomas. why do you think he's kind of listed here? And especially this level, you think, if you got doubts, you got them early, ain't you? Do you know what I mean? You get them right at the beginning, don't you? Well, that ain't true. You get them all the way along your spiritual path, your progress. Doubts come. Now, this is the line. If you've got a pen ready, write this down. Instead of doubting spirit, doubt your doubts. That's a nice one, isn't it? Don't doubt us, doubt your doubts. You see, what happens, you begin your progress, you begin to make a step, you start to make connections, you start to make links, and then it disappears, doesn't it? Kind of, where's it all gone? Or it happens and don't happen, or just seems to not be there when you want it to be there. Or you just think to yourself, I can't do what I'm supposed to do. I ain't done it very well. I ain't very good. Why can't I be as good as that one next door? You know what I mean? I'm sure there's hundreds of them, isn't there? That you've probably used them all the time. You probably sit at home thinking, what doubt can I have today? I know, I ain't used this one in a while. And you start to say to yourself, I can't do it. It ain't happened. This ain't for me. How many times you said that? Well, now you can see what I mean. Doubt your doubts. You see, the first one, or the major doubt people have, is spirit ain't with me. There was yesterday, but they ain't anymore. Or I haven't got the contacts. I ain't learnt it yet. Well, we can't be anywhere else but right by your sides, otherwise how can we all be one? How can we be one except you? You're one all to yourself. Everybody else is one. Well, that don't make any sense. So if we're all one, how can we be anywhere else than right with you? How can it be that way? And yet, of course, these doubts occur, and the doubts occur because perhaps your history, your beliefs, your values, whatever it is, some of your education, somebody has whispered in your mind, this is all rubbish. Or science has got involved and give you a nice logical argument based on facts that they haven't fully investigated and come up with this plan. People get a hoax and then believe it and don't know which one's the hoax and which one's real. And they lose contact about everything. And they don't seem to be able to connect anymore. Everything is given to everybody. It cannot be any other way. Everybody is equally deserving. All the qualities that you need, you already have. Every ability, every little facet, you just haven't woken up to them yet. You may, for some reason, take a left turn instead of a right turn and discover what's left instead of what's right. That's all. It ain't that you ain't got the ability, you just got to change your focus. Now, there are some biological reasons or energetic reasons, of course. Things can get in the way a little bit. Things need to be cleared up. Beliefs, etc., your thoughts, that sort of thing. Interestingly, if you really think about it, the best messages happen to those people who have a calm mind, where the mind seems to calm down and the message comes out of nowhere. And it can be that you could even be thinking, but because you practiced a calm mind, that the message can come out of nowhere. So when you meditate, or when you're in your most quiet spot, then you have more propensity to get message, ain't you? You can get the message then, can't you, when your mind is still. When you've got agitation, when everything's agitated, then it's a bit harder, isn't it? What about if your mind's full up of a certain thought or a certain plan? Well, it's kind of difficult to squeeze some extra information there because you're captured. Even if we did, you'd ignore it and go over to the other side. Think of the process of death. During the last stage of death, there's clarity. More and more clarity. The veil is less confusing. The veil is a little bit thinner, if you want to use that word. Now, there's a group this week that's going to be taken into that process. They'll understand it more. But what I want to say is it's the mind that is causing the obstacle. When the mind is quiet, then the messages come. So hence I say, doubt the doubt, not spirit. Makes so much sense, doesn't it? And you see, those people who are walking the path, they spot these doubts before they arise or as they're beginning to. A little bubble comes up of doubt and they go, that's just another one of them doubts. Let's leave it alone. Let's stick to my plan. You know, you spot your temptations arise. You spot your problematic areas start to develop. You spot the time where your old belief that you ain't good enough pops up. And when this pops up, of course, you believe it. How many times would a psychiatrist bloke, thingy, girly, whatever they called, say, let's deal with your mind, let's get rid of these old beliefs and see if it's true. You know what I mean? They're dusting the mind themselves, aren't they? Is not your spiritual progress one of moving past your mind? Been said before, hasn't it? Been said often. And this is why the doubting Thomas comes in. It's normal to expect them to arise, like your thoughts to pop in when you're trying to be still. It's not whether they pop up is a problem, is it? So if you believe them. So if you got problems with doubting your journey and doubting your path, your mission, your purpose, whether this is right for you or wrong for you, or whether you're good or no good, capable, not capable, whatever. Think of these words of good old Charlie, doubt the doubt. And then you can do it. And then you'll doubt to clarify it, but there's that doubt again. Do you know, there it's popped up in another way. You see, if you've been told before that you ain't good enough, it'll surface in your life 1,000 different ways. But the inherent belief is just a simple conversation that happened when you're 3, 4, or 5 years old or somewhere. Now, some say the spiritual path is cleansing the mind. Well, that is true, that it'll take you from the astral world into the spirit world. The astral world is full of thought, full of mind evolution. Spirit world is quiet. It's peace. If you want me to say in the words of consciousness, we can do it that way too and say the surface is like the ocean, all agitated, but the depth is nice and still. It's exactly the same with your progress. You believe in the surface or you believe in the depth. And then you begin to spot them aright. There's another one of them doubts popping up. I can see it coming. Don't believe that. And then you can let it go. Move on. What would happen? What would happen to you if you truly believed, got rid of your doubts? What would happen then? Well, of course, your mind will be stiller. And when your mind is still, interestingly enough, your heart opens a little bit more. It's your mind that closes your heart, isn't it? Your mind says, nah, not today, heart. Leave it out. Just leave you in a corner. And your mind also creates other problems during the day. And this is why you have to train the mind again. Train the mind to be in your service, not you in its service. It's another interesting one, isn't it? Make the mind to be in your service. And then everything works right. And then all the messages are there. Everything's waiting for you. Everything's just under the surface, crystal clear. Everything you want. Stop believing in the other bits. So expect them to arise, but expect them to let go. And then you'll find it'll work perfectly fine and you can carry on your path. Carry on. So really, again, it's the act of awareness, isn't it? The act of awareness, spotting it, seeing it, watching it going to arise, and then letting it go. And it's the same with also the message that comes that's buried deep within the, well, let's say within the astral world as well. Just there, just waiting. The whole thing's just waiting. So if you're really game and if you want to really do it, have the whole of this week not believing your doubts about your practice, if this is what you want, or one area of your life, and see if I'm telling you the truth or not. You often hear the words that you're capable of everything, yet you choose not to do it. Your life is full of every possibility, yet you choose not to. This, of course, is the fear again. Imagine it without that. You'd create everything, wouldn't you? You would. If you had no fear, you'd have a go at jumping off a cliff just to see what happened. So you see some people say, well, hang on a minute. Isn't fear good for you then if you jump off a cliff? Isn't that there to say don't jump off a cliff? If you really think about it, what is damage? What is hurt? What is lost? You see what I mean? You believe in the body and doubt spirit then. Maybe work your way up to the bigger stuff and then your doubts will become easier with time. And then just watch them arise. Now I'm going to move on to another one. Another one is kind of seem a little bit contradictory. Here it's represented by another disciple called Matthew. Now you can't shorten his name to Matt even though you want to. It ain't got the same ring to it. All right, Matthew, we got to use the old name. Matthew. Now, Matthew accepted all his desires were gifts. You think, well, how's that work? How's that possible? How's my desire a gift? I'm often told not to desire anything, you know. But let me explain it a little bit further. You see, Matthew that's come to the conclusion, or let us say you as the spiritual, what's the word? This person walking a path anyway, that person, he calls on the gift of Matthew, if you want to use a name to it, that seeing the desires as gift. And this is seeing what you ask for, you have created. What you have wanted, you have created in front of you. And you think, what have I created all these problems for then? You see, with every change brings a gift. Every change brings a gift. You see, all the universe is creating all these things, this bit of life, all these circumstances, so it will show to you exactly what it is. It shows the level of consciousness. It gives the consciousness a chance of seeing where it is. You see your personality, what's in front of you. You see your growth. And as you develop through your spiritual path, you begin to realize what you are seeing is not only what you're creating, but it is the universe expressing itself. You see, that person next to you, the one that says got lots of problems, or so you think, if you saw that they were a spirit trying to express themselves or express what's going on for them through what either their behavior or the events in front of them, then you would see that they are none more than expressions of the conscious state. The events in their life is an expression of their conscious state. Do you see the body or do you see the spirit? If you see the body, you're going to see problems that they have. If you see their spirit, you see they are living through or observing their problems and are unaffected by it. You just watch it and see it, and it kind of develops in their way. You see, again, it comes back to that explanation of spirit world and astral world. Problems exist within the mind, within the desire for evolution, within the desire to come home, within astral. The one that watches is within spiritual. If you want to use it all vibrational, you can with that too. The deeper vibration watches the lower vibration. Or if you like, the deeper levels of the ocean does nothing but watch. Surface does all the work. If you think about it, it's all the same. That's the whole point. That's completely the point. So then if you're observant enough, you see what has been presented to you is for your benefit and expression. It's what you want to see evolve. And this is why within the Sikh religion, they say they see as everything as a gift from God and do not get rid of it. They have it. And then they choose to work with it. It's a gift from God. How would that be in your life if you had a little disability and you could see it as a gift from God, as opposed to an injury that you've had, an obstacle to moving forward, a problem, something I've got to deal with? Are you really damaged or hurt because one of your legs doesn't work as good as the other one? Or you got a lump and a bump in a certain place? Are you really then a worse person? Of course you ain't, are you? You know you ain't. You're just believing that you are. There comes that thoughts again, isn't it? You just believe that you are. Think about it. You know, Is it true if you got no hand, are you a worse person? No, but you may function in a different way. And if the spirit is just observing, is unhindered, well, then you may want more of these experiences because you want to discover them. What's that like then? Think of your job or your last job. Was the benefit of it the bit you enjoyed the most, trying to find the bits which were not conforming? What's going on over here then? Let's have a look. Well, I like that bit. I like discovering new things. So you're not damaged at all. You're just watching the process. And this is back to the very structure and belief, right at the very beginning. The bloke, Simon or Peter, whatever you want to call him, about the courage, the strength to stay true. That strength comes throughout all the other qualities. The strength to stay true, to recognize the doubts popping up, to recognize what you're seeing is in fact a gift. The world is opening up in front of you exactly the way it should. It is then your mind that says, nah, it's not a gift, it's a problem. Remember, every change brings a gift. Every change brings a gift. So your decision to begin with is to let's stop. Let's just watch. What am I doing now? Why am I doing this? How much spirit do I want in my next action? Shall I use a little bit of spirit or shall I use a lot of it? Shall I use a little bit of love or shall I use just a little bit? Because they don't deserve too much because they've got a funny type of person. It's not true, is it? You've got to use it all. Yet again, you see again that it is the mind that inhibits the expression of spirit. And it is the mind which comes under control. When you do this work, what's being demonstrated here now, the mind has to step aside or be still to allow this to come through. That is what he said at the beginning, wasn't it? His opening words were, it's the voice bit, the first words that cement the link. Well, it's the first words, he hears them, gets out of the way. You see what I mean? That's why it works so well. Now, if you're using your mind, then at best you're going to use the knowledge within that mind. Calm the mind down and use the knowledge that's beyond the mind. So this is what is meant by really sitting in the power. Sit, feeling the energy, allowing the mind to be still and calm, being aware of the energy changes, the way it changes around you. Two parts of process, letting the mind be still and expanding or opening your awareness. Really, what's happening, you're allowing more of the awareness to be here, more of the consciousness to be in the world. That's what we've always said. It's you that puts the obstacles in the way. It ain't us. It ain't our side. And your obstacles are doubts, fears, a bunch of other labels if you want, whatever you want to call them. So your mission, your challenge, your bit you can do. What about if you lived a week? No doubt about spirit. In all your spiritual practices this week, no doubt, please. See if it makes a difference for you. See if your mind can just let go just a little bit. And just drift away into wherever you want to go. You'll find it will be into peace and quiet. Have you ever, look, you got me on a point now. Have you ever found that if you meditate sufficiently, your mind stops eventually, and then you lose 20 minutes or an hour? All of a sudden you wake up and an hour's gone when you go, where was I? Well, here you've gone beyond the mind. You've gone into the peace and equilibrium of spirit, into the true depth. Now, I want to change or give you a different thing. This is not, let's say, driving to work and not know how you got there. What happened on that half an hour? Where was I? Or do you know the times where you have a sip of your coffee, you pick up your cup and you go, oh, I've already drank it. Won't nothing in it. Or times you look at the calendar and you go, where's that time gone? Know what I mean? I bet you've all experienced them. You see, here you're lost in the mind. Your life's disappeared because you've spent it all chasing thoughts and plans and dreams and regrets over yesterday and all that stuff. This is the uncontrolled mind, of course, what I said. Do you remember having a sip of your coffee last? You know what I'm talking about. It ain't just the coffee, it's other things, is it? Lost in the mind, as opposed to gone beyond the mind. There's levels of that too. Don't need to go into that too much. That's a bit hoity-toity, whatever the words are. It's a bit deep anyway. So look, I've got to tell you once more, your week's challenge, no doubts, just for the week, see if I'm telling you the truth, just about your spiritual connection, your spiritual work, whatever it is. See if spirit are there or not truly, see if it is you that's stopping it. So these are if you want to call them disciples, and it ain't really that, is it? It's about you, that what's already in you. It's already revealed, you know, what you got to reveal, or what you will reveal. Old Thomas and Matthew, and Tom and Matt. Anyway, sounds like a cartoon or something, Tom and Matt. Dodgy couple, them likely lads, I can tell you that now. Anyway, get yourself into undoubt and then see everything as a gift and accept what has come before you. And notice when things come, yeah, look, you got me back on it. I was rounding up then, I'm not now. Look, when things come before you, right, and you got to deal with a particular challenge, stop thinking, what have I got to do to fix it, to get past it, get around it, under it, over it, whatever. Think of how should I be during this challenge? There's a couple of you thinking, what the hell's he going on about? He's really lost it now, isn't he? What I mean is, can you face this challenge with peace in your heart? Can you? Or will you face this challenge with chaos in your mind? Now let's change the word so you understand it. Doing, what am I going to do? Chaos, mind, is limited. How much spirit will I bring into this life, into this problem? How much peace? How much love? How will I be? Well, here, this is spirit. Be the human being rather than the human doing. And then you see it all as an expression of yourself. An expression of yourself. You know, so many people say, what's my life purpose? Well, I've answered this before, but it's how much love can you bring into the world, or how much peace can I bring into the world? What about that for a purpose? How much peace can I manifest? There's a nice one, isn't it? Another nice one. You're a human doing instead of a human being. Anyway, funny the things that tickle you. All right, look, it's got to be about me time to disappear for a bit. I've waffled on long enough. I hope I've given it to you clearly, straight. Have a word with old Matt and Tom. Watch them. See if they'll pop up. What are you going to do about it? Have a go with your weekly challenge. See if I've told you right or wrong. See how much spirit you can bring into your life. And resist nothing when it comes. With every change brings a gift. Isn't that like looking on the happy side of life rather than the miserable side? Every change brings a problem. Every change brings a gift. Don't that make you feel just a little bit better? Rather than looking at challenge and problem and difficulty and, got to go in a different direction now. I've got to go and do this. How many times you say that? I've got to go and do this. I have to. Don't have to at all, Anyway, another story. Look, you see, you get me on it and I'm going again. I don't need any help from you lot to kind of keep me rambling for a while. I just need help. There you go. I just need help, don't I? All right. Off I go. Try again. Is this attempt number 3 or 4? I'll do my best this time. I'll try and see you all again. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And see. Look, always walk on the sunny side of the street. God bless you. Ta-ra. Our discussion will continue next week. And also next week, there will be additional healing. If you wish to say the same people again, that is no problem. If you've thought of other people, also please add those to the list by sending contact to the medium. There are 2 on that list that I mentioned. Loretta and Pia. Both have their own challenges, and it appears they are struggling with their health in quite a profound way. It is often thought with healing that there is a need for cure. With some, it is a need for peace. And it is peace that has been sent to both of those. But do not minimize the healing energy that has gone as well. If you can accept that it is peace that is required, then you must accept that it is spirit that is required. Because spirit are none other than peace. So hence, all healing is a remembrance of their spiritual nature. If there was anybody that is in the last stages of their lives, at some stage they have to come to acceptance. Acceptance that they will pass. It is what you will have to do when your time becomes nearer. Accept. You passing on into the world unseen is unavoidable. It is part of the way the world works. But it is the fighting of this that causes the problem. So it is holding on to the body and not releasing the spirit. But you can only hold for a little while. For those who care for anyone that is struggling with end of life, especially for those of a spiritual nature, you should bring your spiritual self fully to the person, so that your spirit gives the other person's permission for their spirit to step forward. If you prefer, you could say, when you have an angry man, if you just held your peace and quiet, eventually the anger will become peace itself. And of course, that is the surface and the depth of the ocean once more. You do not cure wind by adding more wind, only by non-resistance. And eventually the wind passes and calm is prevalent. There is more than one personality here that always concludes with, "May peace be within your heart." That is a phrase to ponder. So have no doubts on your journey. Accept the doubts for being false. And try to leave at least a portion of your next week without the doubts, to see if your expression of spirit changes. Hold back nothing. And resist nothing. Let peace be within your heart till next week. And don't forget to add any that need healing. Let's stop.